Heading into your 10th season at the Naval Academy, you've experienced some pretty consistent success throughout your career. What has been kind of the key to keeping that going?
Don't look in the past and don't look at what happened in the past, because it really has no bearing on the future. Just continue to press forward. If anything, you kind of look back at things that you can always do better, but never pat yourself on the back, because in this profession, it's what have you done for me lately? But I think besides that, the continuity of our staff has allowed us to recruit players and teach them and coach them about our culture. And hopefully that continuity of staff has allowed us to remain consistent.
Last season was arguably your best coaching job yet. The amount of adversity that you all faced, but you went from losing one of the best quarterbacks in all time in Keenan Reynolds to being excited to see Tago Smith get out there. He goes down in the first game of the season. Will Worth becomes this really pleasant surprise for your team, and then he has a heartbreaking injury to end his season. And then you have Zach Abey come in. I mean, you're going through quarterbacks. Was it your toughest coaching job yet?
Definitely the most injuries at critical positions that I've ever experienced in 27 years of coaching, 10 years of being a head coach. But I also recognize it's part of sports, it's part of football, it's a physical game. But they just seemed to come in waves last year, and recognize it's part of the game. And if anything, hopefully it makes us stronger as a program to kind of keep pressing forward. But it was a difficult year last year for injuries, and just always go back and look, what could you have done better, maybe how you're practicing, what you're doing, maybe some recovery stuff to hopefully alleviate some of those injuries, because it's going to happen. But we had more than our fair share last year.
When you look back and you have a chance now to evaluate the adversity, how do you think that this program did, facing so many injuries at such a key role?
Well, just, you're excited to play in the conference championship, but you want to win the game. Winning 9 games is great, but it also lets me know that our program is in the right spot, because we weren't happy with 9 wins, and we felt like there were some other games we could have won. I was proud of the way our players played. It was a difficult year in losing, to Army and Air Force. But it also, our senior class also ended up being the winningest class in the history of our school. So there's good and bad, like life. And that's kind of the way I teach our guys, just keep pressing forward. There's always going to be adversity. It's not, if it's going to happen, when it's going to happen, and try to handle it well. And I thought for the most part our guys did a really good job.
Your quarterback, Zach Abey, was thrown into a pretty difficult situation in that championship game, but you got to see him for a few live games last year, which is a lot different than practice. What did you learn about Zach during that time?
He's got all the tools to be a really good quarterback for us. Like you said, the toughest of scenarios to come in the championship game versus Temple. His first start is Army, our biggest game, and then his second start is the bowl game. And I thought he settled down after the first half in the Army game and played really well in the second half. And I thought he played well in the bowl game. So I was encouraged that he was able to get experience really fast in some tough situations, and he kind of got force-fed a little bit. But I really believe that will help us for this year.
Your senior leader and captain, DJ Palmore, returns on defense, and that's an area where you do have quite a bit of experience returning. Why is DJ the leader of that unit?
Who he is represents our culture. Tough, hard-nosed, smart, but a humble young man. He's a fearless competitor. He won't back down from anybody. He's one of our best football players. But it's just, if you meet him off the field, the kindest, most polite person that you meet. And so I think because of that, he's leading by example, and he's leading our group to be the type of people and players that we want our players to be.
Regardless of preseason polls and returning personnel, we talked about this a little bit last year, but this team just doesn't seem to get that respect quite yet, year in and year out. What do you think it's going to take these seasons, these winning seasons? You guys haven't lost a West Division title yet since joining this conference. What's it going to take for people to understand that Navy is here and here to stay?
I don't know, but I kind of like it. You know, I mean, it kind of keeps the chip on our shoulder. You know, just kind of get overlooked all the time. But, you know, it's part of life. You just keep pressing forward. And really, we can't really worry about what people say, good or bad. It's like I said, you can't worry if people pat you on the back, and you can't worry if people say bad things or don't believe in you. It's what you go out and produce. And so that's the bottom line. And so we just got to continue to work hard, keep our mouth quiet, and just keep grinding.
Even though the personnel changes year to year, I know that the goals remain the same. It's winning the Commander-in-Chief's trophy, winning a conference championship, and winning that Army-Navy game. Those are some pretty lofty goals. What do you think will be the deciding factor this year, and if you are able to attain them?
Ooh, that's a great question. I mean, we just, you know, you take it one game at a time. You know, obviously those are end goals that we'd like to accomplish. But right now we're, you know, trying to get ready for camp. And in camp, hopefully we can come out of camp the best football team that we can be, ready for FAU, and then we kind of move on from there. And I think that's the key for us, to just take it 1 week at a time, one game at a time, and just kind of keep going. You know, I just, I don't think I've ever gone through a season where you kind of look down the road. It's, you got to look at the task in front of you, and that's the way our team will be successful. If we start looking too far down the road, you know, we'll get beat in the first game, and our goal right now is to get ready to beat FAU.
You know, playing in those games last year, while your team did have a 9-win season, losing in the conference championship game, losing to Army, how do you think that resides with the players returning this year? I mean, does that give them sort of a different chip on their shoulder?
Yeah, because, you know, going into the Temple game, I felt as good as I could be in the season. I thought we were strong and feeling good. And then we had 5 injuries in that game. You know, lost to a good Temple team, lost to Army, lost on a last-second, you know, field goal to in a La Tech in a bowl game. But it spurred our guys to continue to work hard. They've always been hard workers, but they recognize there's a thin margin for victory. And, you know, the attention to detail, doing all the minute detail to succeed, don't cut corners, do everything that you can to prepare yourself. I think it really catapulted them. We haven't lost to Army in a long time, so there have been a lot of people that didn't know what that felt like. And I know the seniors and the guys that are coming back didn't like that feeling, and I know they don't want to feel that again.
How would you describe that feeling?
Probably the worst feeling you can have in sports, you know, and so, you know, you feel for your seniors, you know, for them. You're happy because they experienced so many other successes. But you don't want to, we want it to be 4-0. They wanted it to be a class that was 4-0. They didn't want to be 3-1 against them. You know, even though they leave 3-1 against them as a senior class, you don't want the one, you want the goose egg on one side. And because we've had so many other classes being able to come through the academy undefeated against Army, so to lose against them was tough.
For your returners, do you think it brought them closer together and maybe left that footprint in their mind of, hey, we cannot go out like this?
I know the Army game and the bowl game both left a sour taste in our mouth in a conference championship. That we had so many things, you know, we had a chance to win 12 games last year, and we only won 9. And so, like I said, I know that our program's in the right spot because I could feel the sense of disappointment. And if you're disappointed when you win 9 games, you know your program's in the right spot. But I'm excited because I know that it catapulted them to refocus, to look at everything, to be more meticulous in their preparation. And I've been really impressed by DJ Palmore and Daryl Bonner and their senior leaders. And I think a lot of it, like you said, spurs from they don't want to feel that feeling again against Army.